All right, in this example, we're going to be working with data that involves dates. And when you involve dates in your graph, you're inviting some initial problems. Nothing that we can't fix, but you're going to run into some hurdles here. So this chart, this group of numbers that we have here are the numbers of product that we've sold amongst these categories for almost about like the first 6 months of 2025 on a weekly basis. Okay, so we're going to start out by selecting the data that we want to graph. Now, in this particular graph, contrary to what I've spoken about before, we're not only going to include the regular data, but we're also going to include the totals. And you'll see why as we go through this. So we're going to start out with A2 here, drag it all the way over to the end there, and then back down all the way to row 9. Okay, so that whole area. Now once we've done that, I'm going to go back in and we're going to click on to the Insert tab. Then we're going to go over to the columns, and in this one we're going to do the stacked two-dimensional column. Now, the reason why I'm not going to do a three-dimensional one is because I'm going to have a mix of different graphics for specific ranges or series of data. So in essence, if I do something like that, you can't mix graphic types, in a 3D environment. So we have to do this in two-dimensional. So we're going to click on to the stack column, and we're going to get that. So what do you notice about this? Let's first, before I even do that, let's move this thing down underneath our numbers there. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit wider. All right, so there we go. So there it is. Now, what's happened? Why is this so skinny looking here? Well, for some reason, and this is just the way the program is set up initially, it interpolates dates in between the dates that you've given it. So we have, basically weekly dates here. What it's done is it's filled in January 2nd, January 3rd, January 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th in between here. And of course, those are all 0. So just imagine there are bars here, but they're all like flat as a pancake. And that's what it's done. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You could go into here and you can do whatever you want to try to do to get these dates to not seem like dates, but rather just labels. You can do whatever you want to do. It won't work, okay? What you have to do is pretty much tell the system that you don't want to look at the dates as actual date values, but rather just look at them as being like text. And therefore then it won't feel the need to fill in between the dates that we've given here, all right? Now in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to do a double click on anywhere on the x-axis here. That'll open up a panel. And up towards the top here, we're in the axis options here. Right now it's automatically based, selecting based on the data. What we want to do is we want to turn this into text. So we want to make it look as though this is just plain old text, no values, therefore we're not going to get anything in between. So all we have to do is just click on the text, and that's it. And that's pretty wild. And we can just close that up. That's one thing, all right? The other thing that you might want to do is get this to be just a little bit wider, these bars. I mean, they're pretty skinny. And, you might want to make it kind of stand out a little bit more. So we can actually point to any one of the bars, double click it. This will open up, and then we'll just tell it that we want to change the gap, maybe about halfway. Just makes it a little bit wider. Now, another thing I like to do is put the legend up at the top. So all I have to do there is click on the elements, go to my legend, and tell it I want the legend at the top. I can click onto it, go to home, make it a little bit bigger, too big, about like that. And then I can also click onto the title, go up here on the formula bar, put my equal in there, click onto the title there, hit enter, and I can link it down there, make it maybe a little bit bigger, make it bold. All right, so I got that part out of the way. Now, the other little thing would be that I'd like to maybe take these dates, instead of them being flat, where they seem to kind of run into each other, I want to make them go maybe like a 45-degree angle. So we can double click on any one of them. All right, this will open up. We'll go over here to the size and properties. We'll go over here to the custom angle, and we're going to make this a negative 45. Now I can kind of just hit the down arrow key like that. You can see how it kind of grows. You could also have just typed in negative 45, and that would do the same thing for you. So the time it took me to talk about it, we're there. And then also go back to home, maybe make that bold. All right, make it kind of stand out, and also maybe change the color to a nice thick black there. All right, so we're doing all right. Now you'll notice something that I did initially, and that was I included the totals in my data here, and that long or tall blue bar in each of the groups here is the total. All right, what I'm going to do here is we're going to convert that graphic, the column type graphic, into a line graphic. All right, and then we're going to put, and then at each point in that line graph, we're going to be putting a data label, and that will, in essence, make it look like it's the total, which it is. So you'll see a number at the top of each of these, and that number is going to be the total of all of these, in essence, right? So to do that, what we're going to do is we'll click onto the bar, any one of them. We'll go back up into Design. We'll go to Change Chart Type. We'll go over to the line area, and we're going to go with this one here, and that's going to be that, and then hit OK. And there we go. Now that did not do what I wanted to do. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to hit undo. All right. I'm going to click back onto the bar again. All right. Go back to change chart type. There we go. I messed up there. So here's what you're going to do. If we were to go in there and change it all together, if I went over here to the line and picked one of these, it's going to do it for everything. I don't want to do that. What I want to do instead is go back down here to combo, all right? And now down below here, we can see all of what we've got so far. So right now, it wants to do long boards, short boards, paddle boards, and all that stuff. They're all clustered column. Now, what I need to do is change this also to a clustered column, or stacked, I should say. Same thing with the sailboards. All right, so I don't know. I think because I had chosen line before, I kind of messed up a bunch of them, but that's okay. At least you can see how you would troubleshoot this, right? If it happened to you. So now what we're really looking at is that last one, and that last one we definitely want it to be a line, and we're going to go with it more specifically with these data points here. So it'll give us that kind of a look there. So really, all we did was you clicked onto here, we went back into change chart type, we got this, and we basically told it to keep everything the way it is, you know, for the graphic, for each of those series. But for this last series, this total series, we want that to be a line with markers. Now we do that, we hit OK, and you get that. Now, we can actually click onto the line now, kind of like that. We can then go over into the elements here and tell it that we want data labels. And more specifically, we want the data labels above. So just like that. Click onto that. There they go. We can then click onto one of them, go over to Home, and tell it we want to make them bold and make them maybe a little bit smaller. or larger, depending what you want to do. And also if you want to change the color, but we'll just leave the color alone. Now what we can also do is we can click back onto one of the line segments there, go to Format, and we have on here the shape fill. We've got shape outline and so forth. If we go to the shape fill, we'll go over here and maybe make it red. So you see a little marker is in red. And then we'll go down to the shape outline, and we can make the weight on it a little bit thinner so it's not as obnoxious looking. So we can do something like this, either one of these, all right? And we can also then change the color. So if you want to go with maybe an orange or yellow, or go with black, up to you. So you can do that as well. So there we go. And a minor thing here, because we've got the totals already in here, we really don't need to have this. If we, I mean, you can leave it there if you wanted to, but if we can get rid of it, we can just click on to the elements here, go over to our axes here, and tell that we don't need the vertical. And there we go. All right, so that looks pretty good. We could also, if we don't like just having the white background, we can actually double click it, just like that. We can go over here and maybe go with a, bring this up here and go to the fill, click onto that. And we can go with a gradient fill, something like that. I mean, we can go with the default there, or we can pick any of the presets we got here. So we can maybe go with maybe the gray. Maybe a different color there. We'll go with maybe a light green, something like that. So there you go. Close that up, and there's your graph. But pretty cool. And if later on any of these numbers change, I don't know if I said this before, but all this is linked. So if any data changes up here, it's going to automatically change down there. So thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and have a good day.